navigate traveling this festive season so that you can get into holiday mode calmly, relaxed, and not rushed.
Not rushed at all.
And not miss your flights.
Yes, please. We don't want that, okay? Because every festive season, many travelers tend to miss their flights. It is a fact of life because of last minute rushing, long queues, simple mistakes that can happen on a day to day. And we want to help you avoid that, okay? To help people who travel with confidence or who want to travel with confidence, Lift is sharing important information and practical tips for you to make sure that you as a passenger, I want to say, arrive on time, move through the airport with ease, and also begin your holiday without stress. So with the holiday season approaching, Lyft is reminding us as travelers to check our flight details, to plan ahead, to pack smartly, yes, and keep essential documents close at hand. A few simple steps can definitely make a difference as you travel this festive season. Let's talk about traveling. Let's talk about how we can make it more efficient. We've got on the line Haydn, Halim, Henning, who is Lyft brand manager, so we can have this discussion. Welcome to Channel Africa. Wonderful to have you on, Haydn.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Please talk to us about the work of Lyft and what exactly it is that you do.
So Lyft, we are South Africa's most flexible airline and we offer an elevated flying experience. We are just about to celebrate our 5th birthday, actually, in 7 days, the 10th of December. So we've been around for 5 years and we service the Johannesburg-Cape Town, Johannesburg-Durban and the Cape Town-Johannesburg routes. And we are really looking forward to a very, very exciting festive season.
Amazing. Haydn, why is it that a lot of people are missing their flights come the festive season? What are the common mistakes that we are making during this time of the year?
The biggest reason is simply the timing. So people are underestimating holiday traffic, the parking delays, how busy the airports actually get, and even misreading their boarding times or that they assume they have more time than they actually do. So the festive season, as we all know, it is truly the busiest travel period. So everything just takes a little bit longer and people tend to forget that.
All right. I think there is a certain kind of lift passenger that we're talking about here, Haydn, because you have recommendations as to when people can arrive at the airport before departure. You really want to get your passenger organized. So talk to us about just some of your recommendations for arrival, etc.
So we definitely advise that you arrive at the airport 120 minutes, so 2 hours before your scheduled departure. And this accounts for any traffic that you might hit on the way to the airport, those parking delays I was talking about, and then to also make sure that you are in the queue, ready to check in for your flight. Of course, busier period, longer queues. So just to make sure that you are in that queue before flight closure, which is going to be 45 minutes before your flight. During check-in, of course, we have to account in the time that it takes to send your baggage from the check-in counters down through the airport to the aircraft. So it's a really long process that's happening behind the scenes. So if we think that check-in closes 45 minutes before the flight, and then boarding will start 30 minutes before your flight, and then boarding is going to close 15 minutes before your flight. So arrive at the airport with plenty of time to spare. Don't underestimate those security queues. And if possible, check in online. If you're not dropping any bags at the airport, make sure you check in online so that when you get to the airport, you can go straight through security and to your boarding gate.
Top tips there from Haydn Halim Henning, Lyft's brand manager, helping us navigate our flights this festive season so that you don't miss yours. It's 20 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African time. We'll continue our conversation with him right after this.
Es-tu préoccupé par quelque chose? Es-tu passionné par les questions qui comptent? As-tu une voix qui mérite d'être entendue? Eh bien, nous avons la plateforme parfaite pour toi. Téléphone-nous ou fais-nous un WhatsApp au +27 66 408 87 37 42 et nous te rappellerons. Sois dans la conversation.
Salut Channel Africa, ici Beno le Diamant Rouge et Binal Export depuis le Cameroun, le pays des lions. Voilà.
Sois dans la conversation. Il ne s'agit pas seulement de parler, mais c'est ta chance d'exprimer ton point de vue, de partager tes opinions et de t'engager avec une communauté qui valorise ton avis. Suivez-nous sur les réseaux sociaux, visitez notre site www.channelafrica.co.za et préparez-vous à partager vos points de vue sur Channel Africa, la perspective africaine.
Tebogo and Mmatsheko from the upside.
21 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African Time. This is indeed The Upside on Channel Africa, the African perspective. Join us on our social media platforms at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. Let's continue our conversation with some Lyft travel tips for the festive season. And we'll continue having our conversation with Haydn Halim Henning, Lyft's brand manager. Haydn, I know this is a rather random question, but lounges are a problem in the airports? I know it's a weird, and so please bear with me. Are lounges a problem in an airport? Because when a lounge is available, I'm going to go there. I'm going to eat for free, right? Because I've got access, and before you know it, I've lost complete track of time. So, are they a problem? How can we navigate our experiences at a lounge so that we don't miss our flights with all those delicacies that they offer there?
Definitely the weirdest question I've ever been asked. Are lounges a problem? I don't think they're a problem. No, they're not a problem. So, of course, if you're of our passengers or passengers in general have the luxury of being able to go to a lounge, whether it's through their bank or specifically with Lyft, for example, our Lyft Premium, which is our business class passengers, have access to the slow lounge.
Yeah.
Are there problems? I don't think so. I think I would just ask that the passenger just be a little bit cognizant of the time, and just keeping an eye on the screens in the lounge to see the status of your flight. Has it started boarding? Is it the final call? Do you need to actually put down that glass of champagne and the little treat that you're eating and run to the gate? As of yet, not really a problem. I haven't heard anything, but I think you're giving me a little pet project to look out for this festive season, and I'll report back next year if the lounges have been a problem.
We'd appreciate that.
Please, I would imagine that might be an issue, especially because people misread their boarding times, as you'd mentioned. But I think you've caught half your problems if you get to the airport. I beg your pardon, 120 minutes before departure, as per Lyft recommendations. Haydn, let's talk about just your Lyft traveler first approach. I believe there's something that's happening there.
So, of course, 5 years, we're still a baby airline within South Africa. So we built our company off of being customer obsessed. So we're trying to bring back how traveling was in the past and really just bring that touch of elegance and elevate the flying experience by making the passenger the core focus of the operation, which it should be. So our teams are definitely prepared for the influx of travelers this season, and we will continue to do what we do best, and it's just giving you that extra treatment that people know and love us for. And for all the first-time flyers traveling on Lyft this festive season, we're really, really looking forward to welcoming you on board and for you to get the chance to experience Lyft.
Love it. I remember flying with Lyft once upon a time, many years ago. By many, I mean like 2 or 3 years ago. And they would serve these delicious little cookies. I can't remember what type of cookies they were, but every single time I went onto a Lyft flight, they gave us those cookies, and I would hold them until I get to my destination and enjoy it at the hotel because they were so delicious and I couldn't find them anywhere. Haydn, I need to have a chat with you after this to find out where you get those cookies, those little biscuits. I don't even know what they're called. But let's talk about families traveling with kids. What advice would you give to them to avoid stressful situations at the airport?
Number one advice is just make sure that you are able to check in online at least, when it opens 24 hours before departure.
Yeah.
It just helps you just a little bit with that stress before arriving at the airport. Again, give yourself plenty of time when you get to the airport, as the queues will be long. And then when you do check in, make use of the facility where you can be seated together.
Yeah.
And especially even when booking your flight, It's complimentary on lift to select your seating. And that takes away a lot of the stress when you know that you and your family are all going to be seated together. Lift, we love our little ones that join us on board. They get complimentary activity books and crayons, which keep them entertained throughout the flight. And then, of course, our complimentary drinks and snacks, which are available not only to the kids, but to all the passengers, also just takes away a little bit of stress.
And the legendary lift cookie. Absolutely. Sounds great.
And the cookie.
Yes.
And the cookie.
Haydn, just booking, details, especially for the first-time lift flyer. Where do we go to make our bookings? Because it's crunch time now. If we don't book now, we're going to experience problems.
It's crunch time. So very simple. It's lift.co.za. You can make your booking on our website. I highly recommend that you don't leave it to the last minute. So get going, and the sooner you book, the better.
And Haydn, for you personally, it's festive season now. It's December. Where are you flying off to?
This festive season, I am staying right here in Cape Town. I'm not going anywhere. I've decided Cape Town is the place to be for the festive season. So looking forward to those long, long days on the beach right here.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And I guess as a parting shot also, Haydn, safety is always a concern for a lot of travelers. We hear weird stories about, someone's bag or luggage being caught with weird things in there. How do we avoid that? I mean, you mentioned online check-in. And when you online check, you pretty much ensure that everything that is in the bag is yours, 100%. You packed it yourself. Please advise the first-time traveler on the importance on ensuring that when you online check or online board, that you have checked what's in your bag and you are 100% sure that you are the one responsible for that bag. Talk to us about the importance of that to avoid issues at the airport.
Of course. So, of course, there are thousands of safety procedures which are in place, and this does include the contents within your own baggage. So when you do check in online, there are a set of questions that would pop up. Take your time to read through them. Take your time to understand them. If you don't understand, reach out to someone on our customer support team via WhatsApp. They would be more than happy to assist you. And then just know, to alleviate that stress, that when you get to the airport and you do a bag drop or check in your baggage, the friendly lift team at the counter will ask you those questions again. And if you have any doubts, they're more than happy to run it past you. Highly recommended that you make sure that your bag is securely locked. So you can do this with a cable tie, you can do it with a personal lock, you can do a baggage wrap, and you could always put in like an air tag to track your baggage. Make sure that you know where it is at all times, and then of course just labeling your baggage. So should it be misplaced by mistake, all your details are there for someone to contact you immediately and return it to you.
All right. It has been a pleasure to learn about the work of Lift. Thank you very much, Haydn. We look forward to lifting and flying with you.
Thank you very much for having me. Looking forward to seeing you on board.
All right. That was the voice of Haydn joining us. And of course, he's the brand manager of Lift South Africa. So book your flights if you are looking to move through the three cities, Durban, Cape Town, Johannesburg. Do the right thing. I think it's just such a wonderful airline, and they really want you to be a fine traveler. Absolutely. To get your ducks in a row.
And legroom. Look, I'm not trying to advocate for, I'm not a brand ambassador for Lift, by the way, but the legroom that they have.
No, legroom is important.
It's very important. And for some other airlines, you have to pay extra for certain extra legroom and, all these things. But at Lift, the legroom is sufficient. You can be, look, I'm not the tallest human being, but I struggle at times.
You are tall, sir.
No, I'm not the tallest. I struggle at times with certain airlines because they have tight little seats and you have to cram yourself up. But with Lift, very spacious. And this is their standard price for their standard seats, which I love. Anyway, it's 30 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African time. Let's get the latest sports with Figile Lingwati.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
News this hour, two-time defending Rugby World Cup champions South Africa are in a very favourable pool for the 2027 World Cup in Australia. The Springboks are in Pool B with Italy, their main rivals, but they could potentially face New Zealand as early as the quarter-final stage. New Zealand are in Pool A with Australia. However, former Wallabies coach Joe Schmidt cautioned against getting too predictive.
Coached the 3 World Cups and just some of those permutations, you start plotting a pathway through and that pathway changes completely because somebody upset someone. And, I remember sitting in a changing room after we'd played Canada in our first game in 2015 and watching Japan beat South Africa. And, nobody did that. That's one of the great things about World Cups. I think there's going to be a surprise in those pool matches somewhere. And so I don't think you can afford to get too predictive, albeit that you have a look.
The top 2 teams of each of the 6 groups plus the 4 best third-place finishers will advance to the round of 16. And this is where it becomes interesting. The Springboks and the All Blacks, who are favourites to win their groups, are both in the top half of the knockout draw and should clash as early as the quarterfinals if everything goes according to plan. On to football news, a BBC investigation has revealed more than 2,000 abusive posts on social media were sent about Premier League and Women's Super League players and staff during a single weekend. The messages featured racist slurs and violent and homophobic threats. Chelsea women's manager is Sonia Bombasto.
The social media companies are not doing their job, not taking again the responsibility and the accountability for that. And I think as a club we need to support our players in the best way possible. I think if we have to wait for the social media companies to act, I think we can be in this situation for too long.
And in basketball news, Rwanda's basketball landscape continues to shine through its growing pool of young, disciplined and ambitious talent. Among the new generation stepping into the spotlight is Ben Ruben Caesar. Caesar is a dynamic shooting guard for East Africa University Basketball Club, the EAUR BBC, who recently secured a promotion to the Rwanda Basketball League, the RBL. Caesar believes the momentum that carried EAUR to Rwanda Basketball League promotion began in the first game of the final series. A promotion to Rwanda Basketball League presents a new level of competition for EAUR BBC, but Caesar welcomes the challenge. EAUR BBC clinched the second division championship in July after defeating Inspired Generation 3-1 in the finals. Both teams have been promoted to Rwanda Basketball League in the upcoming 2026 season. On to cycling news. Trailblazing Eritrean rider Binyam Girmay will compete for the NSN cycling team for the next 3 seasons, the outfit formerly known as Israeli Primatech.